She didn't even finish her half-empty glass of water. The black mother tightened her daughter's jacket, lowered her gaze, and tried to slip out of the restaurant as quietly as possible, praying no one would notice the shame trembling in her hands. But someone did. A white single dad at the next table froze when he saw his little girl staring back at them, wide-eyed, confused, and scared, like she sensed something much darker happening than simple hunger. The mother flinched as the door chimed. Her daughter squeezed her hand, and for a split second, the dad caught the look in the woman's eyes, a look no parent should ever have while trying to leave a place meant for families and warmth. Fear. Real fear. If this already made your blood boil, hit like and subscribe right now, because stories like this are still happening and the world needs to hear them. The dad gently placed his hand on his daughter's shoulder, but she tugged away and whispered, "Daddy, why does that lady look so scared?" He didn't have an answer. The black woman wasn't walking. She was escaping. Her shoulders tight, her breath shallow, her daughter's tiny stomach rumbling, so loudly the dad heard it from across the room. The man at the counter, a white customer with a stiff jaw and folded arms, shot her a glare sharp enough to cut glass. The kind of glare that says, "You don't belong here." She tried not to react, but the dad saw her hand tremble again. The waiter, who'd been cheerful with every other table, suddenly lowered his voice and muttered something under his breath as she passed. The mother nodded apologetically, even though she did nothing wrong, and kept walking. The dad's daughter whispered again, "Daddy, why is everyone being mean to her?" He closed his eyes, processing the scene like a slow punch to the chest. She wasn't begging. She wasn't causing trouble. She was simply trying to leave without attention, because attention was dangerous for her. The dad noticed another detail. The mother wasn't looking at the exits. She was looking at the reflection in the windows, checking if someone was following her. Someone had followed her before. The tension in the air wasn't random. It was targeted. As she reached the door, the racist customer muttered, "Figures?" The mother flinched again. The dad's daughter gasped. And that was the moment he knew. This wasn't about food. This wasn't about money. Something serious, something racial, something ugly was happening right in front of him, and he couldn't ignore it. The mother's footsteps faded outside, but the weight of what happened didn't leave the room. The white dad sat still for a moment, watching the door she slipped through, trying to understand why a simple meal had turned into an escape. His daughter, Riley, kept looking back, her little eyebrows pulled together the way kids do when something feels unfair. "Daddy, she looked like she was going to cry," she whispered. He couldn't shake that image either. The stiffness in the woman's shoulders, the way her daughter clung to her, the way she avoided every pair of eyes around her. He paid the bill quickly, barely noticing the total, and walked out with Riley holding his hand. The chilly air hit them the moment they stepped outside. The mother and her daughter stood near the corner, huddled together as if deciding which direction was safest. Not fastest, not closest, safest. Riley tugged his sleeve. "Daddy, why don't they have jackets warm like ours?" He didn't know, but he did know that kind of look. The calculating glance of someone who's had to choose survival over comfort too many times. The woman checked over her shoulder again, not casually, not habitually, fearfully. She wasn't just worried about rude stares. She was afraid of a person, a real threat. The dad followed her gaze and noticed a car parked across the street, engine running. Windows tinted too dark for the neighborhood. It had been there when they walked in earlier. It was still there. Riley shifted closer to him. The mother finally noticed him watching. For a second, their eyes met. Her lips parted, almost like she wanted to apologize again for something that wasn't her fault. Then she gently nudged her daughter forward. The girl kept brushing her arm nervously, the same way Riley did when she felt anxious. Kids know things adults try to ignore. The mother walked toward the bus stop, avoiding the pool of light under the street lamp. Riley whispered, "Daddy, that man in the restaurant, he scared her." He nodded slowly. The mother's behavior fit a pattern. Fear of being recognized, fear of confrontation, fear of someone who had power over her. The dad had seen that same look years ago in a neighbor who'd been harassed by a property manager. The same mixture of exhaustion, and dread. The bus stop ahead flickered under a faulty light. The mother slowed down, hesitating. The dad sensed it instantly. Something about that place wasn't safe for her. Riley squeezed his hand. "Daddy, please don't let her be alone." And without fully knowing why, he agreed. He couldn't walk away from this. Not tonight. Not after what he'd just witnessed. The dad guided Riley a little closer to the bus stop, keeping a respectful distance so the mother wouldn't feel cornered. But before he could decide whether to speak to her, the restaurant door slammed open behind them. Heavy footsteps pounded against the pavement. The same white guy from inside, the one who muttered figures, stormed out with a red face and clenched jaw. His voice sliced through the night. "Hey, you forgot something." The mother froze. Her daughter immediately hid behind her leg, trembling. She didn't turn around, didn't breathe, just stiffened like someone waiting for a hit that might come any second. The man walked closer, waving a crumpled receipt like a weapon. "You people always walk out like that. Trying not to pay? Trying to sneak around?" The dad's stomach dropped. Riley grabbed his coat tighter. The mother whispered, "I please?" "I didn't order anything. We didn't eat." Her voice cracked, but the man stepped in closer, violating her space. "That's not what your type does. You get the service, then you pretend." The dad stepped forward instinctively. "Hey, she didn't do anything. Back off." The man whipped toward him. "Mind your business. She's been sitting around here for days, causing trouble, probably waiting for the right moment to steal something." He wasn't talking to the dad anymore. He was talking at the woman, like she was some criminal he'd finally cornered. Her daughter sobbed quietly. The woman bent down, whispering, "Don't cry, baby. Don't cry," even though her own hands were shaking so violently she had to hold her fingers together. The dad realized something else. She wasn't just scared of the man's words. She was scared he might know her, or worse, that he already did. The man pointed a finger directly at her. "You think I didn't recognize you without your uniform? I know exactly who you are." Her head snapped up, eyes wide with alarm. What was she running from? Why did being recognized terrify her more than the man yelling in her face? And why did her daughter grab her hand like they'd lived this moment before? If this happened right in front of you, what would you do? Tell me in the comments. I read every one. And if you want justice as much as I do, hit subscribe. The man stepped even closer. "Yeah, now you remember. I knew you'd try to come back after what you did." Riley flinched. "Daddy, what is he talking about?" The dad didn't know. But the mother's reaction said everything. This wasn't misunderstanding. Something had happened before. Something ugly. Something dangerous. And now it was catching up to her. The mother swallowed hard, her breath catching as the man hovered over her. "You remember me," he repeated, smug confidence spreading across his face. Her daughter clung to her leg, whispering, "Mama, please don't let him take us again." The dad heard it. His heart dropped. Again, the man smirked. "Yeah, that's right. Tell him who fired you. Tell him why you were banned from the property." The mother's lips parted, but no sound came out. Shame? Fear? Trauma? It was all there, layered so thick the dad could almost feel it radiating off her skin. Riley tugged the dad's sleeve, voice shaking. "Daddy, he's scaring her. Make him stop." He stepped forward, placing himself between them. "Look, she's with her kid. Whatever this is, take it somewhere else." The man barked a laugh. "You think she's innocent? She's the reason half the tenants in my building started making noise. Always complaining. Always stirring things up. People like her don't know their place." The mother's voice finally broke through, soft but steady. "I was asking for working heat, sir. Nothing more. Families were freezing." The man scoffed. "You were trying to start trouble. And now you're hanging around my neighborhood again? No, not happening." The dad blinked. "Your neighborhood?" The man pointed at the large construction site across the street, tall fencing, luxury apartments being built. "Patterson Properties. I manage this block. Keep it clean." His emphasis on clean wasn't about trash. It was about people. The wrong people. The dad's chest tightened. He'd heard of Patterson Properties. Residents complained online about sudden evictions, harassment, intimidation. But seeing the face behind it made everything real. The mother gathered her courage. "We have every right to walk on a public street." The man leaned in, whispering just loud enough for all of them to hear. "Not when you're being watched." She flinched so sharply her daughter grabbed her around the waist. The dad noticed her eyes shift, not to the man, but toward the tinted car parked across the street. The same one from before. The engine was still running. The dad finally understood. She wasn't afraid of this loud, petty man. She was afraid of whoever was inside that car. The man followed her gaze and smirked. "Yeah, he saw you too. And if you think running to another part of town will save you, you're even dumber than I thought." Riley clutched her father's hand. "Daddy, she's really in danger." He couldn't deny it anymore. This wasn't a random argument. This was a pattern, a system, a trap tightening around a mother who'd already been crushed once. And he wasn't about to let it happen again. The mother backed away from a man, pulling her daughter closer, her voice barely above a breath. "Please, just let us go home." But the man stepped forward again, blocking her path like he owned the entire sidewalk. His confidence was too sharp, too rehearsed, like someone who'd spent years getting away with this. The dad finally snapped. "Enough. She's with her child. You've said what you wanted. Walk away." The man turned, smirking. "You think you understand what's happening? She's been causing trouble for months, filing complaints, helping other tenants push back. People like her make my job harder." Riley whispered to her father, "Daddy, what's a tenant?" He squeezed her hand. "Someone who just wants a place to live." The mother swallowed, gathering every drop of courage she had left. "I wasn't causing trouble. I was trying to stop you from illegally removing families. You shut the heat off in the middle of January. You threatened single mothers." "You, watch yourself," the man snapped, his voice suddenly cold. "You think your little accusations scare me? You should have kept quiet. You should have left when I warned you." The dad's eyes widened. "Warn her? When?" The mother stiffened again. She didn't answer. Couldn't. The man leaned in. "Let's just say she's lucky those kids got out before the demolition started." Her daughter's soft whimper broke the night. Riley covered her own mouth like she'd witnessed something horrific. The dad's stomach churned. The rumors about Patterson Properties weren't rumors. They were real. The man stepped back, brushing off his hands. "Anyway, I already filed a report. She's banned from all company buildings. If she's seen on the block again, security will take care of it." This time, the mother didn't look at him. She looked at the car across the street. The tinted window lowered a few inches, just enough for someone inside to see her. Her breath hitched. She whispered, "He thinks I'm alone. He doesn't know. I kept something. Something he desperately wants back. If you believe this should never happen again, share this now. And to my USA, UK, and Canadian viewers, your voice is power. Use it." The man froze. His whole expression shifted, anger turning into panic. You didn't," he muttered. The mother gently held her daughter's hand, her voice trembling but firm. "I have proof. All of it. The false evictions, the forged notices, the threats, the missing documents." The man stepped closer, voice harsh. "Give it back. Now." But the dad moved between them, jaw clenched. "You're not touching her." For the first time all night, the racist man didn't look sure of himself anymore. Because whatever she had, whatever she recorded, copied, or saved, it was enough to destroy him. The man's confidence cracked the moment the mother mentioned proof. His jaw tightened, and for the first time, he glanced nervously toward the tinted car. Whoever sat inside wasn't just watching anymore. They were waiting. The dad gently guided Riley behind him, shielding both children with his body. The mother took a shaky breath. "I'm not giving you anything. Not tonight. Not ever again." Her daughter squeezed her hand tighter, whispering, "Mama, is he gonna hurt us?" She knelt down, brushing her thumb across the girl's cheek. "Not anymore, baby. I promise." The man stepped forward, desperation leaking into his voice. You don't understand what you're doing. That file, those recordings, they don't just ruin me. They ruin everyone above me. The dad narrowed his eyes. Above you? Who else is involved? The man didn't answer. Instead, he shot another glance toward the car. The window lowered a few inches more, revealing the silhouette of someone older, heavier, wearing a suit. A soft tapping echoed. Knuckles on glass, an impatient signal. The dad felt a chill crawl up his spine. This wasn't just a corrupt building manager. This was a chain, a hierarchy, and someone much more powerful wanted the mother silenced. The mother stood straighter, wiping her daughter's tears. I sent copies to people who won't ignore this. Lawyers, a housing group, and someone in the media. The man's face drained of color. You idiot, he hissed. Do you have any idea what you started? Before anyone could react, the car door opened. A man in a long coat stepped out. Older, polished, dangerous. His voice was calm, too calm. Bring me the phone, he said to the building manager. Not asked, ordered. The manager hesitated. Sir, there's a witness. 2 kids. We don't have time to care. Something inside the dad snapped. He stepped between them, voice low. You're not touching her. You're not touching either of these children. The man in the coat smirked. And who are you? Before the dad could speak, a pair of lights appeared at the end of the street. A car slowed, then another, then a third, all unmarked sedans, but familiar enough. Community advocates, legal aid volunteers, and a local reporter stepped out. The mother's eyes filled with relief. They came. The building manager swore under his breath. The man in the coat stepped back, calculating. He couldn't make a move now, not with cameras, witnesses, and a growing crowd. The world he controlled in the shadows was suddenly exposed under streetlights. And the mother he thought he'd broken now stood protected, not by fear, but by truth. The street felt different now, not cold, not hostile. The arriving cars, the familiar faces, the quiet murmur of people who came because the mother called for help, it all shifted the power instantly. The building manager stepped back as a reporter raised her camera. The man in the coat lowered his gaze, realizing this wasn't the empty street he expected. Their shadows were no longer enough to hide behind. The mother held her daughter close while a legal aid volunteer stepped forward. We got your message. You did the right thing. You're safe now. Her voice was steady. Sure, exactly what the moment needed. The mother exhaled shakily for the first time that night, like she'd been holding her breath for months. Maybe she had. The dad felt Riley squeeze his hand. Daddy, they're helping her. He nodded. Yeah, sweetheart. They are. One of the advocates approached the building manager. We already have copies of the documents, and we know who authorized the evictions. This won't be handled quietly anymore. The manager's face twisted in panic, then anger, then resignation. He knew he'd lost. The man in the coat turned toward his car without speaking, signaling defeat. No threats now. No commands, just silence. The kind that happens when a powerful man realizes he's finally outnumbered. The mother watched him retreat, shoulders trembling, not from fear this time, but relief. Her daughter hugged her tightly. Mama, are we really okay now? She kissed her forehead. Yes, baby, we are. The reporter walked up gently. We want to hear your story, your truth. People need to know what's happening. The mother hesitated, then looked at her daughter, then at the dad and Riley standing beside them. Strength replaced the fear in her eyes. Okay, she whispered. I'm ready. The dad stepped forward, offering a warm nod. If you need a witness, someone who saw everything, I'm here. The mother blinked, holding back tears. Thank you. Tonight could have ended very differently. He shook his head. No one deserves to be alone in moments like this. Riley reached for the other little girl's hand. You can sit with us now. You don't have to be scared anymore. The children, who understood none of the politics but all of the humanity, walked together toward the open restaurant lights down the street. The mother looked at the dad, her voice soft. For the first time in a long time, I don't feel invisible. He smiled. You were never invisible. They just didn't want to see you. As the group walked together down the sidewalk, two parents, two children, and a truth too big to ignore, the night finally felt lighter. If you believe stories like this need to be told, share this video and subscribe for more dark truths.